grab my drink real quick. Simon, will you watch them for me? Okay, thank you. Did you watch them? Did they behave themselves? Hello, everybody. If we've not met before, my name is Hannah. It's nice to meet you. And if we have met before, my name is still Hannah. It's still good to see you. Today, we are just going to film our little June TBR. Oh my goodness, summer could not have come soon enough. Summer could not have come soon enough. Do you want to get away from me? You can go over there if you want. Go get away from me. He's gonna jostle the camera, I can tell. This is a different setting than normally we are in, but that's because I went ahead and picked all the books for this month's TBR because I just knew what I wanted to read and I want to get some books off my shelf, and I know that the easiest way to get books off my shelf is to mood read. So this is my TBR chosen based off of my mood and what I will anticipate I will want to read this month. So starting off strong, I'm going to tell you what our book club book is. So if you don't know what book club is or aren't a part of it, it's over on my Patreon. I pick a different book every single month. A lot of times we vote on it. The last 2 months we haven't because I kind of just have like a, well, not a beat, but like a feel for what people are interested in reading in book club right now. And so I really wanted to tackle these next 2 books. And so this month I have selected My Friends by Frederick Bachman. Huge author in my life. I love him so much. One of my best friends introduced me to him. I enjoy every single one of his books. They tend to make me cry, and I've heard amazing things about his most recent books, so I'm really excited for us all to read that together. If you're interested in joining, link is in the description as always, and if not, you can surpass this, but yes, this is the book I'm planning to read. A brief synopsis on My Friends is basically, I know that the cover is this famous painting and you're basically spending the summer with these kids that don't necessarily like fit in at home or at school, but they somehow fit in with each other. They come from very different backgrounds, but they have this common friendship that they share over the summer. And I know that the 4th perspective is the one who paints the painting, and their perspective is the 4th one in the book, and I think is a part of the friend group. I'm not really sure. So all I know is it's just like about their childhood and growing up, and I think it's the book is in the perspective of the artist as well as someone who owns the painting in like real time, and so it's like flashback, and that's kind of how that story goes. Next, we're just gonna go down the pile. So this one's probably gonna be weird, but I'm gonna read This Summer Will Be Different by Carly Fortune. Now this came out last summer. She kind of releases books in the spring or summertime. She does have a new one that just came out as well, but I've actually never read Carly Fortune, and at the time I had thrifted this book right after it was released, like 3 months after it came out, so I was really excited, and I heard decent reviews on it. I don't know why I'm starting with this one. It's on top of the pile, that's why I'm starting with it, but really this is going to be kind of a palette cleanser because I have you're going to see in a minute here, I have a lot of like maybe contemporary fictions that are going to be harder for my brain to wrap around. Sorry, that loud noise is going to be my dog chewing his bone. Try to ignore it. Basically, we know that our main character, she goes to somewhere in the summer. She's a tourist somewhere, and she kind of falls for this guy, not realizing that it's someone she knows, a younger brother, like her best friend's younger brother. This is a pretty thin book, super short, a little summer romance, and it's definitely going to act as a, oh my gosh. My neighbor's dog just like went off, and they're all like yelling at him to stop barking. He's a very sweet dog, but I think that we have a new neighbors on, it doesn't matter. I think he has new neighbors and they have a dog, and so he just barks. And of course Simon's joining in. Anyway, so this book is basically just a light romance, hopefully a good palette cleanser. I've just never read her before, and a lot of people love her as like a summer beach read, so I'm hoping that if I like this book, then that'll encourage me to pick up maybe some of her older books or the one that she just came out with this year. Book number 2, The Summer Will Be Different by Carly Fortune. The next one on my list is The Ministry of Time by Kellyanne Bradley. I crushed that. This was her debut novel last year in 2024. Made huge reviews. Everyone loves it. A lot of people that I really respect and have similar book taste to loved it. 5 stars, 6-star read for a lot of people. So I really want to get into this one. It's like a sci-fi book, and she works at the Ministry of Time, the main protagonist, and then she meets a man, I think from like the 1930s or 40s, and so he's trying to acclimate to now the future and how to live in the future. And she's kind of like his trainer or mentee in the Ministry of Time. So it's like a weird time traveling science department romance. Who knows? But got 5 stars, loved it, beautiful cover. And this is one of my 25 to read in 25. I was looking at that the other day and kind of had to go because I've read less than half, and we are now in month 6, which, as we know, is halfway through the year. So kind of need to get a crack on that and read more of those books. But yes, The Ministry of Time, Callie Ann Bradley. I'm really looking forward to reading this one. Next on my list is The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. My best friend and I, whenever we visit each other, we go to a bookstore and we each pick out a book for each other and buy it. And so she picked out this one as something that she really liked to read and enjoyed and thought I would love. I love a cozy fantasy, or I hate them. That's the problem. That's the problem. They're either 5 stars for me or 2 stars for me, because they're either so cozy that the plot just is like a snooze fest, or they are like so perfect and they give me the cozy good feelings, but then the fantasy world is so well built and I love everything about it, and then it's perfect. So we're hoping for the perfect side of this. She really liked this one. I intend to like this one. Also, purple sprayed edges is like a theme in my TBR, as you'll see in a minute here. Basic premise of this, as far as I know, is that there is a girl who is she works at a magical library. She's a librarian, and the library goes up in flames. And so her and someone else from the library save whatever books they can, and they kind of have to go, not into hiding, but to go be safe and to protect these books. And so then on her way back to her hometown, she sets up a little cottage, but she notices in her community there's a need for spells. And so even though she's not allowed to use the spell books, she opens up a spell shop in her little town, and apparently something happens with the neighbor. A wink, wink, wink. So it sounds really cute, really charming. I want to read this. That's all I really know about it, though. It's just a little librarian and her little spell shop. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's like the crackle with the sprayed edges as they're separating. That's like a drug. That was really fun. Okay, the next on my list is The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett. And oh my gosh, right now I have this from the library, but this cover is actually stunning. And if I love this book, I will need to buy it. And then the spine being like greenery, like moss, I'm gonna have to buy it. So this is a mystery fantasy, which I've never read before, but that sounds exactly like something I would love. I was gonna say my cup of tea, but Tainted Cup, I don't know. So basically this is a mystery fantasy, and what happens is there's a detective who set out to investigate the death of somebody in the Empire that dies really suddenly. It's kind of like a whodunit situation, and she's just like the best detective ever, but she wears like a disguise. Hello? Kind of Selena Sardothian? Anyone? She's really well known as a really great detective in their community, and so she's kind of taking on this case, and then she gets assigned like an aide, and he has some kind of secrets going on. He doesn't want her to know everything about him, but she's like really investigating him, and they kind of butt heads even though they're trying to solve this case together. So that's all I know, but it's set in a fantasy setting, like in an empire. I don't know. I haven't heard very many reviews on this. I haven't really heard anyone talking about this, but 3 people who I really like have been talking nonstop about this, and so I want to be the 4th person that I know talking nonstop about this. Hello, welcome to the family. Matcha break. Yum. Okay, and now the last book on my TBR is The Starlight Assassin by Sydney Wiswell. Now, this actually is a local author. She even signed my copy. Beautiful purple sprayed edge, and I know the artist who designed her cover work, and so I am really excited to get into this, just because I know the people involved. I know how much work she's put into this book, and I don't know anything about the plot though, because here's the thing, I hate a spoiler. Your girl hates a spoiler, which makes me telling you guys about books somewhat hard, because I'm always worried that I'm gonna give away a spoiler, because I'm also someone who does that a lot. The little I know about this book, I will share with you. Our main character, Ren, is an assassin. She was meant to kill a young boy a long time ago, but she spared him, let him go, and it kind of has always played in the back of her mind or haunts her. And now she has been given the assignment to kill this one king. Come to find out, the king is that boy. And I think that the king also knew, like when he was a young boy, like was looking for the girl that like saved him and like always had her in his mind. So like kind of a lose-lose situation, right? Where they both kind of have been thinking about each other, but now she's tasked to kill him. And so I think there's just like this tug of war going on between the heart and duty and opportunity and what the right choice is to make. That's the very little bit that I know about this book based on what I've read. And I'm really excited, not only to support this young author, but just to actually read something that I don't hear a lot of people talking about. It's really hard to read a book without any influence, like without knowing like an author's prowess or anything like that. And so it's really special to have met her and I think she's probably a phenomenal author. I'm excited to read this. To recap, our book club book this month will be My Friends by Frederick Bachman. I'll be reading The Summer Will Be Different by Carly Fortune, The Ministry of Time by Callie Ann Bradley, The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst, The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett, and The Starlight Assassin by Sydney Wiswell. That is my TBR for the month of June. It's going to be an amazing reading month, and I do have a reading vlog coming up very, very soon. So I love you so much. Thanks for your support, and I'll see you next month. Bye!